Well, hello everyone. How are you doing? This is my video for this Sunday's worship, and I'm just wondering how everyone is doing. I've noticed now that we are starting to see states starting to open up a little bit, um, beach resorts, in some stores opening up. We've been in stay and shelter for quite a while, and it's interesting as I don't know if you follow the news. I don't watch nearly that much news because um, almost everything is about the virus, and I don't like to hear a whole lot about that. But I've been watching people's reactions. I don't know if you've been watching and you've seen there's people now protesting about the shutdowns, protesting about wearing masks. You've seen people be uncivil now that they're able to get out because they're so frustrated about having to be locked up or at home. I've seen people being reading articles about people being rude in lines at ice cream shops because they don't want to wait or they didn't follow the instructions about ordering ahead. We have to understand if we're trying to limit social distancing, we need to plan ahead. Sue and I, this past weekend, did takeout two times, and both times it was you call in the order, you knew when you had to go pick it up, and that they were waiting outside and they took it through. And the other one was a restaurant that down in Hershey, and she had a certain time to go pick up, and that was actually a Mother's Day dinner that some coworkers from Sue's place arranged, and that was kind of neat. I'm not big on the whole big meal takeout thing because it just doesn't feel food's not as warm by the time you drive it back home, but that's a whole different topic. But when I've noticed how people are reacting when they're told, people are getting shot in stores because they're being told to put on a mask by the security guard, or I'm wondering, how are Christians reacting when you are going out? To me, I'm trying to be even more polite to people because I know this situation has everyone on edge. There's nothing we can do about it. We're talking about when are we going to be opening up again as a church, and Governor Wolf has his plan, and the local governments have their plans, and we need to understand technically Governor Wolf never said churches had to close. Churches can open when they want to open. Churches, can do what they want to do, but we have to make decisions that are good for the health of the congregation, good for, when we get together, what do we want it to look like? Do we want to open and only have 20 people show up? These are things that we're discussing as elders and a council. But yeah, we need to understand that churches were never officially told to close. Churches have gone along with the recommendations for the overall, to be an example, set the example to our congregations, set the example to the community that, yeah, we want to help this, flatten the curve or stop this virus from spreading. So as we made these decisions not to have services and to do these videos, it's because we want to lead and set the example. We care about the people in the church. We care about the people in the community, and we want to continue to share. So when we talk about leading by example, and we're all being kind of cooped up and going a little antsy, a little nuts. I say hello to everybody I pass when I go running in the morning, and I try, and some of those have led to conversations, again, by being polite and just sharing and wishing people a good day can lead to some conversations I've had with people. But sometimes people get in line, they get frustrated, they get angry, they get irate. And I wanted to read a passage that kind of talks about how are we going to be setting this example. It's from Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 to 32. Now, this is Ephesians chapter 4, 29 to 32. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, with whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Jesus Christ forgave you. So when I'm thinking about we are going to slowly start interacting with people again, this is an opportunity to set the example, to be compassionate, to be welcoming, to be to let that bitterness and rage and anger just leave us. And the talk that comes out of our mouth, are we making someone's day a brighter day? Just think of all the servers or the people who are working at these grocery stores, or who are serving as we go pick up food, and everyone they have to deal with. Not everyone's in a pleasant mood, and we can, as Christians, set the example. And are we in that big of a rush? I've been telling a lot of people, it's okay, I'm not in that big a hurry. If you need to take that person instead of me, go ahead. I'm fine. You're doing a great job. I appreciate everything you're doing. I've been thanking FedEx, the mailman, every person I see, just making sure I let them know I appreciate them. We can, through our talk, we can build others up. And we can, for the benefit, and just think of the benefit of those who are around you, who are listening, when they see that, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a hurry. And when we see later in verse 31, when it says, get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, every form of malice. How many of us are still holding on bitterness or rage or anger? I know a lot of people, a lot of families who've been torn apart this way, where someone has a problem with another sibling and they don't talk, and it's split the family. I've seen churches split over silly things like carpet or paint, and people get upset when you hear people who are complaining. And that's just not out in the world either. That's in the church. That's during church events. If it's unwholesome talk that's coming out of their mouths, it's okay to point that out to them. Ask them, what good do you think that does? How is that lifting someone up? Building them up according to their needs. I know Wayne, with the youth, they have signs all over. If what you're saying is not building someone up, don't say it. No slander, no bad talk. I think that's a good way that we should be approaching, not only as we come out of this pandemic, but just how we carry ourselves as Christians. Is what you're saying building somebody up? Are you holding on to bitterness, rage, and anger? I'll admit, I'm one that when we play golf or play any types of game, I like to talk trash. It's what I do it well. I've been doing it ever since I've been a kid, and it's all in joke and humor. And the people I do it to, they understand that. They talk trash back to me. To me, it just makes the whole event fun. But when we're talking about what people are going through some tough times, or people who are risking their lives to serve and help others, are we bad mouthing or having unwholesome talk come out of our mouths? Or are we helping people build up? Are we holding that anger? Or are we being bitter? Or has this pandemic made you realize it's time to let that go? Our life is too short on this world to be carrying around all that bitterness and anger and alienating people. Because in the end, if that's what you're doing, you're going to be a lonely old person who's getting more and more bitter because nobody wants to hang out with you. I don't know about you. That's not how I want to spend my older days. And believe me, I feel older every day. So consider what you say, how you act, how you carry yourselves. Because you could actually help brighten someone's day just with a few kind words and a smile. I hope this gives everyone something to think about this week as you go out, if it's to go pick up food, if it's to thank a delivery man, whatever it may be. Maybe it's talking to a neighbor. Let us be what Christ told us to be. Christ forgave us and we didn't deserve it. I think we can let all that bitterness behind us and share just God's grace. May all of you have a great coming week, and I can't wait till we can worship together again soon. Goodbye.